Hello, Gino. I'm pleased to report that your booster is rebuilt, tested, and ready to go. This is my test rig, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at what the test is going to show you. Well, first of all, let's go over here. We've got your check valve rebuilt, got all the hydraulics rebuilt, and this is the input side of the hydraulic, and this is the output side. And then we got your little test port back here for checking the booster function. This is something that you can access if you so choose anytime you want. You just take this, there'll be a plug in there, and you take the plug out and put your vacuum gauge in there, and what you're going to do is watch the vacuum gauge readings as you apply the brakes. And this is what's going to happen. This tube right here is connected to this gauge. Now both of these gauges are going to read vacuum as produced by my vacuum pump or by your engine, and this vacuum gauge will stay stationary while this one will approach zero as you apply the brakes. And the more you apply the brakes, the more the approaches zero, and then when it reaches zero, the brakes are fully applied, the booster is fully activated. And that's what the test is that will show you what's going on back when you use the test fitting back here. On the hydraulic side, we've got the input and the output. Input, both of these gauges are tied together. This gauge goes up and reads whatever, its final pressure here, and this gauge reads final output pressure, and that is a function of my master cylinder on the machine. Now then, the output, again, these gauges are tied together. This gauge goes up and reads, maxes out, and then this gauge will follow and reads final output pressure of what the booster is producing. Now then, most people don't realize that these boosters are designed to just bypass fluid if there is no vacuum available. So what that means is the input and the output will equal each other. So I'm going to demonstrate that right now. With no vacuum applied, the pressure inside the booster will be the same, and you'll see that as we pump it up right here. Okay, so we've got input pressure of 350, output pressure of 350, and again over here repeated on this gauge. So, without any vacuum going to the booster is basically inert. Now then, we're going to hit it with some vacuum. We'll see what's going to take place. All right, got vacuum. This is a 4-to-1 boost ratio, so you're going to see an awful lot of pressure on the output side. Got 350 in, over 1500 psi out. You might even get some more, up to 2000 psi or 1800, just with my test rig. So you're going to get a lot more with your foot pressure. All right. Now we're down to zero in the vacuum, and we got full pressurization. This booster is a beast. Massive output. Alright. Got you a good booster, Gino. The problem was in the main vacuum diaphragm. I'd never seen one of these go bad, and it's the first time I've seen it in 40 years of working on these things. And I'm going to leak check it over the weekend. For right now, we don't have any fluid coming out of our bleed screw, which is fine. And the only other place to leak check is this joint right here and the threads. And I'm going to leak check it over the weekend, and assuming nothing happens, I'll get this thing out to you next week. Thank you very much for your patience. This has taken way too long, but I was not going to give up on you and it. Thank you, Gino.